Thank you, Joe Conti. Wow. Put us all in a mellow mood. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. It's Sunday, March 13th, and we have Joe Conti here playing our music in Kauakea Winston for a talk about presentation about astrology, Western astrology, and we have a whole setup here that I'm so waiting to hear about. Um, Again, welcome everyone that's here. I know we have some new people, everyone watching from different places in the US and all over the world, actually. I know we have some people in Canada, some people in Japan, and who knows where else. If you're out of the country, let us know. Send us a message on our New Thought website and let us know where you're viewing from. That would be great. So I think we'll start today with a reading from Science of Mind magazine, and Pasha's going to do that for us. Thank you, Pasha.
It's my pleasure. Okay, so today is March 12th, and the reading for March 12th begins with two quotations. The first one is from Howard Thurman. There is something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. It is the only true guide you will ever have. And the second quotation is from Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science and the first editor of this magazine back in the 1920s. I now assume my rightful place in the scheme of things. Mind thinks through me, and love acts as me. And the little essay is by a minister named Reverend Michael Gott, who has the unusual distinction of being ordained by both unity and religious science, which is unusual. Years ago, I did a lot of vocal coaching. For most of the people I taught, the issue wasn't the voice itself. The issue was a mental thing, a block or a belief that kept them from using their voice freely. A fear of making a mistake would make them tighten up, and then they would often make the very mistakes they were trying to avoid. I can't remember where I picked up this bit of wisdom, but I shared it with every student. If you do what you do with authenticity and presence, you can do it wrong and it looks right. If you do what you do without authenticity and presence, you can do it right and it looks wrong. Our fear takes us right out of the authentic self. We start thinking about what we're doing and how others are perceiving it, and that then takes us right out of the present moment. The best performances in any field of endeavor happen when the performer is alive to the moment and flowing with the energy of life. Of course, there have been practice and preparation beforehand, but when it's time to walk out on the court or the stage or into the conference room or classroom, the preparation is over. The performer allows the flow of divine creative energy to move through them uniquely, authentically. The music of life is playing all the time. Will you allow yourself to be its instrument? Relax, trust yourself, let it happen. And there's a affirmation to go with the reading. It's got 3 lines. So I'll read the whole thing and then I'll break it into small parts for people to repeat. I am enough. I trust that my expression is beautiful, necessary, and helpful to humanity. I'm willing to bring my gifts fully into the moment and let spirit use them for good. Okay, now I'll say it and you can repeat it in small chunks. I am enough.
I'm enough.
I trust that my expression
I trust that my expression
is beautiful, necessary, and helpful to humanity.
is beautiful, necessary, and helpful to humanity.
I'm willing to bring my gifts fully into the moment
I'm willing to bring my gifts fully into the moment
and let spirit use them for good.
and let spirit use them for good.
Thank you, Pasha. Whoa, I really like that one. There's so much packed into that one. We could sit with that for a long time. Yeah, another way for me to look at all that is if I just show up and I say yes and I'm willing and I come out of love, love takes care of everything. And there's nothing else that's needed. So thank you very much for that. I think we'll start with a meditation now. Um, and we'll just get comfortable in however way you want, whether you want to put your feet on the ground, whether you want whatever you want to do. And maybe just let's just all so we can come together and energetically, let's just take a couple of deep breaths in and let them out, like really let them out and just go into that space where there's nothing. There's nothing but peace and love. And just let's just stay in there at a moment and I'll ring the bells when we come out. Thank you. If you bring your consciousness back into the center. So, again, thank you, everyone. Welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. It's Sunday morning, the 12th of March. And here we are in this beautiful, beautiful lanai, just finishing a meditation. Every week we have the wind that sings its song during our meditation. We always, almost always, 99.9% of the time, we have the roosters joining us, the birds. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful place. And we're so fortunate to have the ocean here and all the green, the trees, the Aina. And here we are. Thank you for joining us. So we welcome you to New Thought. You probably know if you've been tuning in, but we have been here over 50 years, and that's quite an accomplishment. And weaving a lei of love, which we do every week. And I think we've been here 50 years. There's many reasons, but one of them might be that honoring the diversity of all paths. We all have one goal in life, but our paths are different. And it doesn't matter what they are because we're all on the same path and our goal is the same. We all want to arrive at our goal, and we will. So, one of the things is way back, our minister left. And she said, you don't need another minister, just minister to yourselves. So, as that evolved, it means that every week we usually have a different facilitator and a different musician. And we have some amazing speakers every week, one of which is here with us today. And we'll be hearing more about astrology in the year of the rabbit in a moment. But one of the things that so we're part of the New Thought Alliance, and we started out as Science of Mind, and we've had several locations, but we've been here in Palani Terrace for quite a number of years in Kealakekua and the Big Island of Hawaii. Um, so one of the things that we affirm, let's see, which one do I choose? Spirit, you choose for me. We affirm the freedom of all persons as to belief. We honor the diversity of humanity, affirming the dignity of human beings as founded on the presence of God, of the God presence within them, and therefore the principle of democracy. So that's just a little bit, just a little piece, a little slice, a little taste of what happens here. But the real thing that happens here is we never know what's going to happen here. Truthfully, we have a plan and we have preparation, but oftentimes that can just blow with the breeze off the lanai. So make sure you tune in because you never know. Um, let's see. I'm So that tells you a little bit of what New Thought is about. We're really about love, about caring, honoring diversity, welcoming new people, which, by the way, we have some new people here together with us on the lanai. If you feel comfortable or you don't mind, could you tell us who you are and how do you live here or you're visiting? Sharon, I think, right? Yeah, welcome. I'm sorry, you moved from California? You're in transition. Many of us are in transition, yeah. But welcome. All right. Oh, well, yes, you need transition for that. You got to be near the little one. Well, welcome. We're so happy to have you. And we hope you see you again. And is this your first time? Oh, okay. You were looking for a place. Uh-huh. Oh, it's just somebody also that was from California just looking for a community and went on the website and found a number of people that she knew or recognized or remembered. And so here she is. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Cindy. Cindy, thank you, Cindy. Glad to have you. Glad to see you. Welcome. And yeah. So Winnie is here. She came here from Costa Rica, and Oh, you live in Canada, but you came here from Costa Rica, and she came for the crystal bowls, and somehow it enticed her to stay longer. So we're very happy to have her. Anyone else? Three, that's good. Welcome, welcome. Make sure you sign in the book there, and if you want to be put on the mailing list, we can do it that way. And you can also check the website. We have a newsletter every week that comes out. I'm very happy to welcome all of you. Joe, could we do another song? Thanks.
I really enjoyed what you were saying, Pasha, from that reading. And I play sports too, and I've written a thing on my website about what I've noticed the parallels between music and sports. You know, when I'm playing music, I can't think about calling the plumber and oh, I got a weed eat when I get home. And that pedal's not quite in the right spot. And, you know, you always have to bring your attention back to this 2 seconds and this 3 seconds. And the same thing when you're kind of playing sports, you know, you might have a little break in between, but then you have to constantly refocus. So it kind of brings your attention to the moment. So there's a lot of parallels between those two. And I don't know how to segue into this song, but let's see. I'm just going to put on a beat and see what happens here. And now. I'm not sure who wrote this song, but it's called Lay of Stars.
Ah, very good.
A lay of stars for you to wear on nights like this. Each time you wear my love stars, I'll greet you with a kiss. The moon is filled with jealousy, shines on our rendezvous. For when you wear my love stars, the fairest one is you.
Arrrr.
You almost did that like Hank. Hank used to do his do his thing. Thank you. Beautiful. You managed that pedal somehow. S- So apparently at New Thought, besides weaving a lei of love, which is really includes everything, we also weave a lei of stars, right? Yeah. And we've got Star back there too. So there we go. Maybe for you today, Star. Okay, now we come to the part of our program where we're asking if anyone would like to share a miracle or ordinary. And you know, these days are becoming closer and closer together because every ordinary is a miracle and every miracle is an ordinary. Just something maybe that happened during the week that you took notice of, something you want to share that might help other people, something that really surprised you, something that you're so grateful for, whatever. Is anybody want to share anything?
I'll share something.
Yes, okay.
Um, I'm so grateful to be here. First of all, I live in Honokaa, so we're quite a ways up north. And my husband, Gino Bergman, he moved to the Big Island in 1957. So he was here during statehood. And in 1966, he built a home on Ali'i Drive. And the new owners, about a year and a half, found out he was still alive and contacted us. And he finished working on the home that he built 57 years later with beautiful lava stonework on three pillars. And so that was last year. And then we just had a 4-night staycation at the home with this crashing waves for fun. I was like, oh my gosh. Um, and it was just this miracle, really full circle moment of this dream he had in 1965. His wife was pregnant. You know, the Sunday before that, his son just turned 57 years old. And here we were at his dream home having the dream continue. And so we're just really grateful we got to spend that time there. And and it was because of being invited to speak here that I reached out and to see if they had more work for him to do. But they said, just come and stay. We want you to stay. And so we, yeah, I'm just really grateful.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful story. Wow. Not story, real live, real life happening. Thank you for sharing that. That's so sweet. Anybody else? Star. Can you come up? You mind speaking in? Okay.
Hearing you speak the word dream, yeah, here, I'll put it here and that'll be easier. So hearing you speak the word dream brought me to a miraculous feeling experience for me this week. I have an experience that I call dream deja vu, which is, I think everyone relates to the idea of deja vu, right? Of feeling like, whoa, okay, this has happened before, or there's a yesness going on. And I sometimes have the experience of knowing that I have had a dream, and then in the waking time, some often years later, I will see it and feel it and taste it and hear it. And um, a little better than 5 years ago, I had a dream of the exact moment, sometime in the middle of last week, of walking outside of where I'm living now. I've moved more times in the last 5 years than it seems like, I don't know, like 30 something years or something. And everything of the moment, the light, the breeze, the sounds, the taste of the air, and everything was a welcoming of having known that I had this dream a little better than 5 years ago. And also another piece that was very dreamlike still to unfold of people that I will meet soon, and keys and paying attention. But it was a miracle space of knowing that, yes, thank you, divine, I am in the right place at the right time. And yes.
Thank you. Oh, both really sweet. Anyone else? Poma, you usually have something. I know you've got something you want to share. Too ma- k- You don't have a favorite one from this week? No. Okay, we have a miracle of a life full of miracles. Thank you. Okay, all right. Well, I think we need I think we're probably creating more space for your talks. So, um, I'm going to introduce our presenter today. Hold on one second. So, welcome, Kauakea Winston. She's a Western astrologer and energy healer who's been teaching at the Sacred Path Healing School since 2004. This is quite a time, quite a long time. Her approach to astrology is finding compassion for oneself and one another during our earthly journey. She offers energy and sound healing, focusing on the chakra system and combining astrology with the teachings of Sacred Path Healing School. She offers her services here on island as well as via Zoom, conferencing worldwide. And she's a member of the Organization for Professional Astrologers. She's lived in Hawaii for over 40 years. She has two amazing adult kids. She loves being a tutu to her grandson. She lives on island with her husband, Gino, which she mentioned. He's a well known stone artist in Honoka'a. And she's also an experienced professional photography who's known for portrait and wedding photography. And here's what she says. I'm going to quote. I got into astrology in the late 90s as my former husband was a master astrologer. He transitioned in 2008 from cancer, and that journey took me inward using astrology in a most profound way. My practice now is a compassion practice, teaching others how to work with natural cycles and learning the archetypes of the zodiac to better understand themselves and those they love. The loss of a great love has deeply impacted my healing practice. I work with helping others with grief issues as I continue to heal and grow. And this year is I believe the talk is astrological influences for 2023, year of the rabbit, and I'm really curious to know what that's all gonna all mean. So thank you. Go, yeah,
Uh-huh.
please,
Yeah,
please
thank
share with
you.
us. Yes.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thanks everybody for having me. Um, I was so ready for Year of the Rabbit. We had that water tiger in 2022, and that just felt like such a powerful, active year. And moving into the water rabbit, this is a much gentler year. And so that's the good news. And we're still in the water element, that, the 12 Chinese zodiac animals, they, go through at water tiger. Now we're in water rabbit. And we know that water as an element is not only fluid and with ease, it relates to emotions, but it's one of the most powerful elements. I mean, the waters that carved the Grand Canyon. And so after just spending 4 nights watching these crashing waves on the shore and just really sinking into the power of water and realizing that, our bodies are made of 80%, 90% water. What um, a depth this year we can go into by just noticing our relationship to water, how much you drink, how much you're getting in the ocean. Are you taking those Epsom salt, Hawaiian salt baths with essential oils? And let the water really nourish you. And I'll get in later to, Saturn, one of our social planets, has moved into Pisces out of Aquarius, the air sign. So this is a really beautiful time for this. We're in Pisces season right now, before we get to the spring equinox on March 20th. And so to be enjoying um, the water element right now, I think is really important. Um, I use the We Moon date book, and I'm going to just read a couple things out of here. Um, Maybe you are familiar with these. They sell them all over, and I really highly recommend if you want to start um, following astrology for the year using using a We Moon date book. And so this lunar new year started on January 21st, and it's always on the second new moon after winter solstice. And so the lunar new year is always on a different date every year. This year it started early in late January. A lot of planets were still retrograde back then, but I tell you, I was cheering the rabbit. We went to Oahu and stayed with a friend who had 4 bunny rabbits hopping around her house. So I got to welcome the year in quite beautifully. Um, and so here, this is Susan Levitt, who writes, rabbit is a symbol of longevity, imaged as an alchemist and a shaman who lives on the moon with a moon goddess, Chenge. Rabbit year can be a time of peace, calm, and healing after the dynamic tiger year. Bring it on. Rabbits are gentle, peaceful souls who excel in the arts. And so during the rabbit year, enjoy your artistic life, the beauty you create and share with others. And so rabbit years are people born in 51, 63, 75, 87, 99, and 2011. And then those babies that'll be born this year. Um, Rabbit is keenly perceptive and can sense danger in any situation. You know how they just hop away real quick? Go ahead, hop away real quick if you aren't feeling grounded or safe. Let the rabbit, kind of take you. And rabbit is not a fighter. She'd rather flee uh, than confront conflict. So it's a gentle year, and this uh, other. Let me just one last thing here. Water is the most powerful element. It can move around any obstacle without losing its essential nature. And so to be with ourselves and in our feelings, which water represents, and not that we need to be telling everyone how we're feeling or what's going on in our internal world, but to be with ourselves, to be with that emotional state we're in, and to have that sensitivity towards ourselves. I think that is a big theme this year with not only the water rabbit, but with Saturn in Pisces and during the rest of this Pisces season. So I'm going to move into the rest of astrology for the year now. As you see down here in the front, I've got this wheel. This is our astrology wheel that has the 12 zodiac signs and the planetary rulers. I've also put out some tuning forks. And so feel free after my talk to go up, and if you know what sign you are, pick the card up and read it. It will talk about yourself at best and when stressed. And this is a conversation that, as an astrologer, I'm committed to continuing to have with everyone I do readings for, and just with community as we continue to evolve the collective awareness of how to use astrology, and quit saying, oh, is that good? Is that bad? Oh, is, oh, I don't like that sign. All of these kind of really set ideas we have about the stars, the beautiful lay of stars. Thank you for that song, Joe. That was a lovely song. So I have a poem I want to read that's also from We Moon. This is by Sandra Pastoris, and it's called Aquarius, the Vision Bearers. We are the vision bearers, messengers in mind space. Upon our shoulders rests the vessel of Aquarius, pouring forth vibrations of change, with songs finely tuned, carrying freedom's call. A new vision ripples across the collective mind, expectancy charging through the air. We are the vision bearers, sowing seeds of time into tomorrow's creation, only a thought away. So we've been hearing for a long time we're in the Aquarian age, and yet we're kind of still twiddling our thumbs going, really? We are? Okay. Why is this happening in our world? All the collapse and chaos. Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth and transformation, has been in the sign of Capricorn for 15 years. And Capricorn, the earth sign, has to do with structures and society and how structures in society work and don't work. And so, what Pluto does when it's in any given sign, and because it's the planet the furthest out in our solar system, it stays there for 15 to 20 years, is that it's breaking down. It's a transpersonal planet. It's breaking down and stripping away all that is no longer functional within the sign it's traveling through. And so Capricorn says, well, how much money does it cost? Who's the boss? Who's in charge? Who's got the power? All of these things. And guess what? After 15 years, on March 23rd, Pluto's changing signs. And so this is, and Pluto, the sign after Capricorn is Aquarius. So Pluto's moving into Aquarius. So yeah, let's get this Aquarius party started. Okay. let's move this energy so that our visionary humanitarian wishes begin to manifest. And this really starts with us in our own personal relationship to our interior and how kind we are there. And then that projects out into all of our relationships. So, reading from We Moon here again, Pluto and Aquarius will be reflecting the growing pains of a new humanity with disrupting flows and patterns on the terrestrial plane for the next 20 years. The effects of the global pandemic that we are inheriting from Pluto's final flourish of the Capricorn transit will leave us in a planetary healing crisis with collective grief and dysfunction of sick, stuck, exploited, traumatized societies. And grief is something that, as Tony read my intro, I just had the very big journey of embracing grief as part of my own humanity and helping others to recognize that our collective culture, we don't hold one another very well when it comes to grief. It's a difficult subject that people then tend to isolate and pull away when they're in grief. And yet, here we are, if we're moving into this humanitarian age of Aquarius, we really do need to become brothers and sisters and family in a broader context. And if we don't share our natural selves with one another, not in a codependent, needy way, but learn how to be with ourselves when we're at our best and when we're stressed, and learn how then to hold space for one another and respect one another for the limitations we have in the ways that we're with one another. So, as much as the good news of Pluto going into Aquarius, anytime a outer planet, particularly Pluto, changes signs, there's going to be some upheaval this year. I mean, it's not going to be easy. And the retrograde begins on June 11th. And so Pluto is only in Aquarius for a few months, and then it's going into Capricorn for the rest of the year. And so it's doing its last cleanup. Okay. A lot of mopping up to do. Okay. And so Norma Jean Ream is one of my astrologer friends who lives down in Pune and Seaview. And I called her and told her I'm doing this talk. And she gave me this wonderful line: the hard territory of completing the 15-year cycle of exposing the negative undercurrent of control is what this last 9 months or 6 months of Pluto in Capricorn is going to be. During this 15 years, we've exposed a lot of control issues that our government and as a collective powerful people have held. And we're ready to shed that snake skin and really learn how to take responsibility for our sovereign being so that we can be a part of the collective in a stronger way. So we move into the spring equinox coming up here just on March 20th. And the following day is the new moon in Aries. And so we have a lot of planetary bodies in Aries right now. So even though we're in Pisces season, and it's like, oh, Pisces, love, hugs. We've got Venus, we've got Jupiter, we've got Chiron, we've got Eris, we've got Vesta, all uh, all in Aries right now. And so, I get Aries distress calls. Oh my God, I didn't start a fire, but it Aries. I'll read the card here. Aries at best. I'm direct. I take action based on my instincts. I'm courageous. I'm self-reliant. All really good things. I trust my will and assert myself with strength and boldness. I have a clear sense of my individuality. I'm independent. I take risks to gain experience. I have the faith of a child and I jump in and try what inspires me. I'm enthusiastic and confident. I get very excited about starting things. So, even though Pisces is the 12th and final sign of the zodiac and spring equinox is considered the astrological new year, we get the Gregorian calendar January 1st, we get the lunar new year, third chance is spring equinox, new beginnings. And so, with the new moon symbolizing the new emotional energy that begins every month, the moon goes through all 12 signs in a single month, starting right when spring equinox is. So then we add the sun and the moon to the big stellium of Aries planetary bodies out there. Venus is moving on to Taurus, thank God. She can slow down and kind of get in the body and find that Taurus earth sign grounding, while all of this Aries continues to go. And this is about, healing our sovereign selves, and how do we break out of the isolation that we've been in during the pandemic. And it's lovely to see you all out here today, not wearing masks, and the breeze is blowing, and it's a beautiful Hawaiian day. It's interesting because we will have 2 new moons in Aries this year. And the second new moon in Aries is on April 19th. And so we have the first new moon at a 0 degrees Aries position, and then the second new moon at the final 29 degrees Aries position. So the following day, Mercury will go retrograde. I don't want everybody running around going, Mercury's retrograde, the sky's falling, Just slow down enough to notice, what's going on with my computer, what's going on with my car, am I communicating effectively, all of those things that Mercury rules. But the second new moon in Aries this year makes a square to Pluto. And a square is a 90-degree angle that 2 planetary bodies make to one another that create an angst. 2 planets, when they're together, is a conjunction, and they working in harmony towards, their team. When you've got this 90-degree angle, something's got to give. Something's got to change. So, how much individual freedom do I have? How much am I part of the collective? This second new moon in Aries, Pluto will be in Aquarius during this time. And the Aquarius vibe, if we look at its highest nature, says, I'm a unique individual with original ideas. I see things from a broad perspective. This is sitting on the observation deck and saying, okay, I don't have a lot of feelings here. I'm just noticing the big picture. What is going on? I'm going to back up and pause and really try to get some perspective here. Aquarius at best says, I see the whole picture and I find innovative solutions which serve humanity. I stir up humor. I value friendships. I'm communicative with my original ideas. I'm experimental and scientific. I'm part of my community and I require a lot of freedom. I love my weirdness and I help others to embrace things. So let's bring on the weird. So, Aquarius, as an air sign, when we look at the collective and how we can usher in the water bearer, people get confused about Aquarius thinking it's a water sign because the symbol is the water bearer. But the sign before Aquarius is Capricorn, the earth sign that says, okay, I think we're going to need stoplights and we're going to need some rules and police to make sure that we don't have traffic accidents. We need air traffic control. We need a lot of rules to make sure that as a society, things are functioning well and we're not, um, you know, driving in each other's lanes, so to say. Um, Capricorn, because we're just Pluto's moving out of this sign. Let me just read a little. These are my Vesta Mystery School cards. Capricorn says, I'm capable and responsible. I understand how the world works and my part in it. I'm reliable and patient. I make plans that manifest. I value those who respect themselves. I'm mature and ambitious. I like being in charge and I'm able to follow through to create success. I'm career oriented and I know the power of being serious. I have inner authority and I know how to use my power wisely. I work well with time and I honor all my commitments. And so the little mountain goat here, Capricorn, has these very high qualities of maturity and the ability to follow through and to really ground all the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. They really want to work in the physical world to create things. But Pluto being in this sign, it's just been like a wrecking ball, breaking down systems that are no longer functional. And it can feel dismal. It can feel as if we're in really big trouble. And it, as Francis Weller, my mentor, says, we're in the long dark. And if we don't learn how to be on the earth in a gentler, more conscientious way and with one another as well as ourselves, we all know if it's not ourselves, someone with health troubles that are just, everyone we know, we're always talking about the health and the problems and the issues we're going through, and the earth itself with climate change. With, let's go into Saturn. Saturn is the planet I call Saturn, the god of manifestation. It's about self discipline and patience. And this is the ruling planet of Capricorn. And it's for 2.5 years been in Aquarius. And so it's interesting, it's moving into Pisces. And so Saturn says, we have to restrain ourselves and accept limitations. Otherwise, we cannot become mature and responsible, similar to the Capricorn theme I was just talking about. But it's moving out of Aquarius, where it's been for 3 years. And during the pandemic, Saturn's been in Aquarius this whole time. And Aquarius is a very rebellious sign. It doesn't like restraint. It doesn't like limitations. And so how do we awaken our consciousness and become Aquarian beings, the light bearers, pouring the living waters into our lives and into our earth without becoming just the person who is against everything that society represents? How do we build a living culture? A living culture that cares enough about one another that we are, like the book E.F. Schumacher wrote so many years ago, Small is Beautiful, Economics as if People Mattered. This is what we're being asked to do, is to think locally, act globally in ways, and really take care of ourselves and take care of one another. Um, Saturn moving into Pisces, let me just read a little bit about this here. Pisces says, I feel everything. I'm a dreamer, ever hoping for heaven on earth. You get Saturn, the planet that says, okay, well, what are we going to do about that? You know, how much time will it take? How much money is it going to cost? Saturn is all about those kind of realistic things. Pisces says, I'm compassionate and spiritual. I love music and art. I'm subtle and imaginative. I can be romantic and mystical. I'm intuitive, empathic, perceptive, sensitive. When I'm centered, I'm gentle and flexible, at times sacrificing. I know how to surrender to a higher power and trust that love is all there is. So, Pisces, everyone who is a Pisces and who has planets in Pisces, your sun, your moon, your rising, any other planet, Venus, Mars, they're all going to be having a transit of Saturn passing through Pisces for the next 3 years that says it's time to grow up. It's time to not just be thinking love and light. We've got to actually bring this down to earth. Pisces on a bad day, on a stress day, can also be about addictions and about our personal as well as our cultural addictions. And so looking at, how do we escape? Where's our escape hatch? And I'm all for rest and recuperation, but sometimes Pisces can be, okay, I'm just going to zone out on my phone for 3 hours, or I'm going to just watch TV. We think of, oh, yeah, addictions are drugs and alcohol, but we've all got this phone in our hand. And so, how do we be a part of this living culture that we're creating, and how do we contribute and not zone out and try to find this escape hatch? Also, water problems. I think during this 3 years, there'll be people who are wanting to find solutions. The flooding we're having, the fires we're having, all the climate change with Saturn being in Pisces, I would imagine we'll see more issues around water and trying to control water and flooding in the next 3 years. Um, but it is a time to that dreamy, beautiful Piscean world. It's like, how are we going to actualize these dreams? What are those actionable steps we can take to ground this in and bring this into reality? Bring the dream to life. So, those are some of the things coming up in the beginning here. This Pluto in Aquarius is all about awakening our individuality and our spiritual sourcing to be a part of the collective. And so, how do we strengthen ourselves individually, spiritually, so that we bring more, to our communities? There is a little handout like this that's up on the table there that is free. You can take. It has the dates for many of the important astrological events happening this year. So feel free to grab one of those. It also has the dates for the eclipses. And so eclipse season is often big turning points of year. It's kind of like taking a big ship out in the sea and turning directions. And so the lunar nodes on either side of the moon, these points, the sun or the moon is conjoined near those points of the nodes, and that's what creates our eclipse seasons. And they're always a new moon, full moon, sometimes two new moons and a full moon, or two full moons and a new moon. But there's the eclipse season starts on May 5th, and we'll have a full moon lunar eclipse where the sun is in Taurus and the moon will be in Scorpio. And full moons are always where the two signs are opposite one another, bringing that polarity of balance. And where Taurus, we want to just talk about Taurus for a minute, says, I'm dependable and steadfast. I value security and I rest easy with Mother Earth. I slow down and I enjoy the comforts of touch and food. I take care of my body and I'm patient. I value money and security. I count my blessings and take my time to build a solid foundation, letting go of all rushing. I'm dependable and appreciate the abundance of Mother Nature. So, Scorpio being a water sign that the full moon is on, this is about our intimate relationships. And so Taurus says, I need security. I want to feel good in my body. I want to feel rested and relaxed. I need my comforts. And Scorpio says, who are my intimate relationships that I know they have my back and I have their back, and that we can get real and authentic with one another and say, yeah, that sucks. Or, you know, I love you and really mean it, not just like, oh, la, la, la. Scorpio always wants to go deeper. Um, and so that full moon on May 5th is about, you know, some security and stability within your relationships. Um, uh, Shortly after that, Jupiter will finally leave Aries and move into Taurus. And I think that Jupiter is representing the growth. It's the largest planet in the solar system. And so it's always expansive. And it says, you know, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to open up. Saturn being the planet that says, I have to consolidate and I have to concentrate to make something happen. And so this is our breath, expansion and contraction. And we need both. How do we know when it's time to open up and expand and when it's time to contract and get more serious? And if you look and follow astrology, there's so many good phone apps now. I like Time Passages, Luna. There's so many, you know, Leela. I'm doing 20-minute readings afterwards, and feel free to ask me, and I'll give you a list of these little apps. They're free often, and you can just follow, put your own chart in, and follow and learn some of this, because these are the cycles that, as a planet shifts signs, collectively it's like the weather's shifted. Suddenly we've got these beautiful lenticular clouds showing up, you know. I mean, something's shifting, and when you know just a little bit about astrology, you can say, maybe it's about this. Maybe I should open my mind, maybe I should open my heart to this theme, to not only this sign, but maybe this element, the element of water, fire, earth, water. And you begin to work with that in a more conscientious way. Um, Jupiter leaving the fire sign of Aries on May 18th and moving into an earth sign, it's just going to slow everything down. And, you know, it's like, okay, now let's tend to the body instead of all this getting started. Aries wants to start the fire. It can't sustain the fire often, but it loves to start it. So, then on May 20th, Mars will be in Leo, and it's going to make an opposition to Pluto. So we've got all of these transits, they're called, where when two planets are coming to terms with an energy that needs to be resolved, whether it's personally or collectively, there's some heat that is used to transform, and there's a creativity that's possible. And so Pluto will be back into Capricorn, but right at that final degree, and Leo's just leaving Cancer, moving into uh, I'm sorry, hold on. Mars is just leaving Cancer and moving into Leo, and so there's this opposition that is bringing up more tension as Pluto completes its journey through Capricorn, and finishing this mop-up process of the collective rules and who's in charge. Politically, this could really be a shake-up time where there are political parties at war with one another, trying to sort out some of the issues in our country that are so hot. Let's just say that. And so that's coming up at the end of May. Um, so there's Mars is opposite Pluto, and Mars says, I have the courage to act on my desires. As it moves into Leo, as well as Venus, there's this courage to act, courage to step into the heart space that says, my heart and my desires are important. Let this lead, let this Leo energy lead. Both Venus and Mars are in Leo most of the summer. So to wrap it up, with Venus and Mars in Leo this summer, will we have another summer of love like 1964? This is the last time, or one of the last times, that Saturn was in Pisces. We had this musical revolution. It ushered in this deep spiritual, emotional, collective shift. And so it is, I think, because of Venus and Mars both being in the same sign throughout the whole summer, a really beautiful time to open your heart up and let the heart lead. Leo is the opposite sign of Aquarius. Aquarius gets too aloof and sees the big picture without getting involved and participating if Leo's heart isn't engaged. So let the heart lead. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll end with a poem. How's that? This is a poem by Pablo Neruda. There is no insurmountable solitude. There is no insurmountable solitude. All paths lead to the same goal, to convey to others what we are. And we must pass through solitude and difficulty, isolation and silence, to find that enchanted place where we can dance our clumsy dance and sing our sorrowful song. But in that dance, in that song, the most ancient rites of our conscious fulfill themselves in the awareness of being human. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. You packed a lot in that time. A lot to think about and try to remember. I mean, everything you're saying is like, my husband and I were when we got to each sign, like we're kind of glancing over at the other one and like, yeah, you got that. Yeah, you got that. Uh-oh. Get ready for what's coming. So, but it's amazing to me how even in general, you're not specifically reading for a specific person, but astrology is just so right on. I mean, it's just so telling. It's so and yeah, I agree. If I think if we maybe paid a little bit more attention, it's like I'm not an astrologer, I don't. I'll listen to something, but if we paid more attention and kind of looked at it closer for ourselves, I think it would be an aid. And what's so interesting, I bought a book yesterday. I didn't know why I was buying and it was like in this obscure place, and I picked it up and started looking at it and I couldn't put it down, and I went, this isn't a book I would typically buy, but I'm so drawn to it. Got it home, same book you're using to read from today.
Oh, the Wee Moon.
Yes,
Oh, it's
the
so
same one.
it's very digestible astrology.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
And
the
you
yeah.
know, and I know it's a lot. I'm a Virgo, so I have a big capacity for these details.
That's
So
good. In our case, that's good though
yeah.
to share because you're very detailed and very oriented. But yeah, yeah, it was very, very helpful.
Oh, thank you. Can I just read one last thing that I wanted to get
Sure.
in? I know
Yes.
it's fairly short. This just came through around everything going on this year, and it's a question. Will I be dismissed by someone else's paradigm or projection of me? You know, where is your inner authority to view yourself as you know you are? What does self-respect look like? What agreements do you need to break to stand with yourself and not need their approval? And this is being our unique self coming into the Aquarian age, really being able to stand with yourself in your heart and not looking for that outer approval. then we get stronger as a collective community. So, thank you.
Good reminder. Thank you so much. Beautiful place to end. Um, now we'll do, if Joe, you mind playing some offertory music for us? Our time to give back to New Thought in whatever way. Prayers, energy, light into this bowl. We're placing this bowl here. And this is an opportunity for all of us to shine who we truly are in whatever way. And it helps us to keep our lights on, although we don't have our lights on today, but keep our lights on when we need to, right? And to be here and offer amazing musicians we have and our presenters. I mean, we have such amazing people that come here and they love it here and they love to come here, but they find us and they're here sharing their energy and sharing their gifts, which supports in all of us. So we're going to pass the ball around now.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is not what is usually on the list for offertory music. But you were talking about protecting and claiming your sovereignty, and
You do it. You do it, Joe. Come on, man.
and I'm sure Tom Petty never used this drum beat either.
So unique.
Gonna stand on my ground, be turned around in a world that keeps on pushing me around. And I want back down, and I want back down. Baby, there ain't no easy way out. Gonna stand and I want back down. I know what's right. I got just one life that keeps on pushing me around. And I want back down. And I want back down. Easy way out. I'm gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down. That's right. With just one life. A world that keeps on pushing me around. I want back. Hang on to your sovereignty.
That was a good music
That-
choice.
Yeah, that tied in real well. Thank you so much. And I was looking when you were changing your sound and your keys, like pushing on the pedals. It's so nice to like be here and think about watching doing all that with slippers, like like doing that here is so great. Yeah. Oh, so we're doing our announcements now, and we'll let Kauakea go first.
Sure. Um, I have the astrology cards for sale. There's 12 of these for $15 that I have some samples up there you can look at. I've also, embodiment is so important. So I've created with a business partner essential oils for each zodiac sign that are organic. And so those are up there. And there's a little flyer for a class I'm doing up in Honokaa on March 25th called Embodied Moon Magic. If you don't know what sign your moon is in and you want to learn more about your emotional nature, check out my Embodied Moon Magic class. And then there's some workbooks up there. The cards are also a self-study course in how to learn your own astrology chart. So I do readings, but you can also take a class with the workbook and use the cards to understand your own birth chart.
Wow, thank you.
Mm.
And speaking of readings, we have time slots. There's a clipboard over on the table with time slots available for 20-minute readings this afternoon, and we'll be here for from 1 o'clock to 3:30
Yeah.
approximately. So yeah, it's a great opportunity if you want to sign up and get a reading this afternoon. Okay, for as far as New Thought announcements, we're here every week at 10. You can come in, you can do live stream, and we're on YouTube, so you can check the link for that. So you can watch live stream, or you can watch after, and you can pull up any of our previous ones on the New Thoughts website. The next 3 Sundays we have for spring equinox ceremony. We've got Kamina Lighthawk, one of ours, who is right back there helping us out with the sound today. Thank you. And there's drumming starting 15 minutes early, about quarter of. So if you have a drum, please bring it. 326, Richard Stevens, Trail to Redemption, Kuleana, The Law of Attraction and Writing, Your Life Story, and Darby Partner is going to do our music. On April 2nd is Nancy Shipley, Reuben, Trusting Your Source. Music by Sakshi Zion, excuse me. Yeah, we've got the individual readings this afternoon. Mondays, we're back to Tai Chi on Mondays now. He's still healing. So our Tai Chi person is still healing, and we'll stay tuned for that. But normally we have Mondays from 4:30 to 5:30. We have Tai Chi and Qigong classes. Monthly events. We have produce giveaway the last Sunday of the month. Crystal Bowl meditation, second Sunday of the month. April 9th will be our next one. And there's plenty of opportunities for service. We need greeters, setup people, tech help, lay ministers. We have a lending library that probably is not really utilized to its fullest. So just a reminder, there's wonderful books inside here. And you can take it out. We have a lending library. You can take it out. And we could use some help maybe with getting somebody to kind of organize that and take care of that a little bit. And you can volunteer for almost anything here. So just go on the newsletter. You can click reply and sign up, or you can just show up and go, hey, I can help with that, or just help. We have a lot of people that just show up and help. So thank you to all of our silent angels. Our mailing list over there, newthoughtcenterhawaii.com is the website where you can sign up on the table over there. And I think that's it. Anything else? Oh, yes, Pomai.
Oils.
Thank you. So one of our members here has direct experience using the oils, um, and uh, the cards. She's got the cards in her pocketbook, and they've been very, very helpful for her. And they remind her when things are going on. She looks at them. She's, oh yeah, that's right. So highly, highly recommended. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think it's
Bye-bye.
time for our closing. Oh, Pasha. Oh, lunch, food, of course. Of course, we have to be grounded now. Okay, we got a plan here. We'll probably just go up to the Chinese restaurant here. The food's been good, and it's a faster way because we're going to start our readings at 1. So, is there anybody who'd like to go up to lunch with us? No? 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 Okay. Patty will. Oh, Patty, thank you. That'll be nice. Okay. All right. And I'll be going up too. So, all righty. Okay. Why don't we make a nice circle and we'll do our closing song if you would lead us in that. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you for that. Stretch.
Seriously?
They don't do anything, it's just for looks.